If you guys haven't watched the latest Bleach 1000 Year Blood War episode, stop literally everything you're doing right now. Genuinely just click off this video and go watch the episode right now, especially if you haven't been spoiled yet. Because I am genuinely at a loss for words. What the fuck was that Bleach episode? 90% of the content shown in this episode was completely anime original content added by Kubo, and this one single episode has turned even manga readers into anime onlys who don't have a single clue as to what the hell's gonna happen next. If you guys don't know, this episode was gonna adapt some of the most universally hated Bleach chapters and moments. I don't wanna spoil much because I feel like some of the original manga content might be integrated into the upcoming episodes, but it was mostly related to Ichigo's Bankai transformation and how the final fight went. And Tite Kubo has completely rejected those controversial manga chapters like Orihime and turned them into possibly the single greatest Bleach episode of all time and a masterclass in direction for final battles. Like, I don't think you guys understand just how much this episode means to me as an Orihime fan. I have seen her get slandered so much throughout all these years because of stupid people complaining about her story relevance or brain-dead shipping wars. And this one single episode has completely shut up all the haters and proved why Orihime is undoubtedly the best girl in Bleach. And I haven't even touched upon everything that happens with Ichigo or the sheer quality of this episode. I don't know how much of this is recency bias, but I think this is easily the greatest Bleach episode, both in terms of story content and production quality. The only episode that even comes close in terms of animation is episode 6 of Core 1, which was Yuha and Yamamoto's fight. I think I slightly prefer the Yamamoto fight because it's easier on the eyes without all the special effects and overpowering compositing. But in terms of raw animation and movement, this is easily the best Bleach has ever been. We had some insanely cool cuts of action animation for both Ichigo vs Yuha and Uryu vs Chugram. But low-key, my favorite animation cuts from this episode might just be the character acting animation when Orihime is taking all those hits from Yuha and constantly getting back up in order to protect Ichigo. The direction and art quality of this scene was genuinely breathtaking. I honestly don't have any words to describe how raw and insanely impactful this moment truly feels. And I have to give massive props to Orihime's voice actress because of her groans and screams as she's prioritizing healing Ichigo over herself. Aside from the ending, this might be my second favorite part of the episode because it made me so damn emotional and I was ready to bawl my eyes out for Orihime. Side note, and I don't know if it's appropriate to mention this, but my god, Orihime was so insanely hot in this whole episode. I won't lie, I was having the Avuga moment during some shots of this episode. If I had one small nitpick about this episode, it would definitely have to be the comedic relief moment between Ichigo and Rukia when she saves him. I understand what Kubo was trying to do here, but man, it just doesn't work at all in this moment. But then we get to one of the coolest sequences of this episode, which is Ichigo and Uryu's fights happening in parallel with actually insane animation. The storyboards for this sequence were so cool and unique, and they really add a lot to the crazy scale of this fight. And the animation fully keeps up with the crazy storyboards thanks to the staff working on this episode. After that, we have yet another scene of Orihime's despair as both Ichigo and Rukia get bodied in front of her. This episode almost feels like it's entirely from Orihime's POV, and it is so brutal and heartbreaking to see her reactions to all the tragedy surrounding her. But now, let's finally talk about Ichigo's Bankai. I had instant chills when Yuha is walking away and you see the art style and color palette completely change into an overwhelming red accent as Ichigo finally screams, Bankai. Zangetsu means something along the lines of Moonslayer, and I believe this is the first time. The anime is really leaning into the moon theme and the symbolism of Ichigo's Zanpakuto, and it is so insanely hype. And we get to see a completely anime original Bankai form of Ichigo which is officially titled The Blood Chains form, and the design is very cool, especially with the dual Vasto Lorde horns. I'll be honest, the effects were definitely a bit overwhelming in this part of the fight, and I had no clue what's happening during most parts, but it is undeniably some of the best action animation in Bleach. Ichigo's new powers in this form seem to be chains and reishi clones, and they make the fight feel very dynamic and unpredictable because even Yuha doesn't know which one of Ichigo's clones is real. And the Getsuga Tensho was just pure eye candy and one of the coolest moments in Bleach, as Ichigo literally puts a crescent moon into the sky. And then he goes further by aura farming, standing in the middle of it. After that, the fight gets even more intense with Ichigo and Bankai Rukia's tag team. The 3D rotating shots surrounding Yuha as they're both going to attack him might be one of the most impressive cuts of the whole episode. And the second Getsuga feels just as impactful as the first. After that, we move on to another brilliantly directed scene, which was Orihime's POV as she falls from above and sees Rukia's Bankai shattering and Ichigo stabbed. And the next 3 or so minutes that follow are the most moved and emotional I've gotten while watching Bleach. It truly felt like I was watching something truly special, as the acoustic version of Nine Lana's ending song is playing in the background, while Orihime starts naming all of her familiars and getting ready for her sacrifice. The lead up to everything was perfect, as Urio's fight is reaching its climax and we're cutting back and forth, and it doesn't feel annoying at all, thanks to the incredible direction. Yuha literally had to kick Ichigo out of the way because he realized what Orihime was doing and he had to prepare for the worst. And finally, Orihime sacrifices herself by rejecting Yuha's entire existence in this beautifully animated sequence that truly feels like the end of everything. And we get the real title drop of this episode as one flower falls down, revealing the full title, Life to Defend You. This was the quite literal definition of cinema, and I was almost moved to tears. But that's pretty much all I have to say for this episode. I don't want to spoil anime onlys, but I have a general idea of what's about to happen next because of the upcoming chapters that I'm personally not a fan of. But like this episode, there's a chance Kubo completely changes future events and makes me an actual fan of how the series ends. I'm not gonna get my hopes up because I feel like this episode truly was an exception, but let's just hope for the best. If you're still watching the video, I just wanna say thank you for listening to me ramble about this episode. Hope you're having a nice day and peace.